And here we are in the upper left, in the red. Hailing from the lower bracket, it's PracticeX. And his partner, he's the red Zerg. He's GhostlySwarm. And of course, on the other side of the map, for Team GP, it is the blue Protoss player, the master of cheesy shenanigans himself. He's Prince. And rounding this out, his partner, known by multiple names, also for Team GP, it's Loki. Of course, you may know him as DRGLing if you follow the 1v1 scene more frequently. If you're more involved with that. As we do see an aggressive opening coming up here from Loki. This looks like... Well, we should see a natural get taken. I think this was more like a 15 pool. So aggressive, but not end of the world aggressive. Not one base aggressive, not, stuff like that. And we should see Prince... Okay, there's the gateway. I think we're probably going to see a Cyber Core expand as we do see Prince go to the other side of the map, block the gold base. I honestly wouldn't even be surprised to see him block both golds. To be totally honest, but no, the probe's going to go back in. Just going to check. Okay. That gold has been delayed. 17-17, just fair? I'm not sure what you mean by that. All right, so it looks like GhostlySwarm, he's going to take the base. That is not nearly as ideal. It's more exposed, but also it's not gold, and you want your gold base. Oh, okay. Derp. I read 1717 is a year or something, and I'm like, yeah, StarCraft was not invented in 1717. I guess you had some tabletop war games as like teaching tools to teach people how to teach generals, but nothing like StarCraft. How lucky are we to live in a time such as this? Generally, it's 17 pool, 17 gas. Oh, sorry. Yeah, no. What am I saying? It's gas, 17 gas, 17 pool. What am I saying? It's been a long week. I've spent a lot of time in the left. That's my excuse. It's fine. All right, so we do have the Terran has the gold. Zerg does not, but we'll be able to take that eventually. Bailing Nest on the way from both sides. Looks like Glow wants to actually get decently aggressive here. A bunch of Zerglings on the way. His Bailing Nest is just about done. Speed is just about done. So I think we're going to see something similar to what we saw last game. As yeah, we do have a Tech Lab on the way. It's researching Magfield Accelerator. Cyclone on the way here. But I know this is not quite as committed. This is just the Zerg. But the Zerg wanting to put some pressure on. Where are these Zerglings? Okay, they're there. They're hiding behind the Terran's mineral line. Now we have a bunch of Zerglings getting there ready to run across the map. 10 more on the way. But this is an unsupported mission. This is just a, hi, I'm gonna scare you. I'm gonna do what I can to make you overbuild. I'm gonna make 2 players defend me. And that buys time, theoretically, for PracticeX to get up into his mech composition that he is so interested in getting. But yeah, the Zerglings run in. They say, okay, there are a bunch of Adepts here, a bunch of Zerglings, a bunch of Banelings. I'm not interested in that quite yet. Now, with the Banelings getting morphed in, maybe he's interested in it now. Does Oracle get anything? Oracle did not. Just got a reveal. And we'll see that there is, in fact, no workers at the natural. Now we have a bunch of Banelings going in. They're going to start going forward, and well, one Baneling will die immediately for the blue team. Wow, I can talk today. Anyway, so now with the Cyclones rallying their way across the map here, this gets a little bit more scary. We have 2 Cyclones here, more and more on the way. And this is a variant of what we saw that last game. Magfield Accelerator is just about done. Cyclones, of course, going to lock onto anything useful, say Banelings, and the Banelings will get locked onto. And sure, all of those Baneling shots are going to be juicy as hell. Now the Cyclones, they will lock onto this Void Ray immediately, and that's going to go down. Now, we do have these last 2 Banelings going to do what they can to try to get in. They will get targeted down. And where are we at? So, okay, the Baneling, there are a couple more Banelings warping in. Actually, one of them is going to get a really good shot. The second one really shouldn't, though. And now it's Zergling Hellion on the way in. There we go. More and more Banelings do go down. And really, these Cyclones, as long as the Zerglings are there to defend them, these Cyclones are absolutely reigning supreme, just locking on top of anything and everything, killing them off, and more Cyclones are being rallied, and more Cyclones on the way. Now, we should see some pickups of the Cyclones here, but with these lock-ons, the Phoenix just go down, they just die. But of course, it's not a matter of killing them off, although killing them off is nice, and that does eventually happen. It's a matter of delaying the damage. It's a matter of allowing the Protoss army, allowing the Zerg army to get on top of things, and that is exactly what Loki and Prince have been able to do. And PracticeX, GhostlySwarm, they have been forced back. Oh yeah, these are not going to be able to get much done though. So Loki and Prince, they're in a fairly good situation this game. Each up about 10 to 15 supply over their counterpart. And now we have Double Phoenix coming out here. +1 air attack is on the way. Yeah, these Cyclones are just going to go down. And there we have it. GG. PracticeX. Sorry. Loki and Prince, they're going to take game number 1. Wow, I'm struggling tonight. I apologize. It's because this tournament's been going on for quite a while. We're hitting the 4-hour mark. And it's a lower bracket. That's pretty common for lower bracket things. But anyway, where are we? We are sitting in a position where Loki and Prince are 1 game away from taking the championship. PracticeX, GhostlySwarm, they have to reverse sweep from here on out, should they have a chance. Their cheese did not work. It does not mean that nothing will work. But they're going to have to be a little bit more crafty in game number 2. Should they wish to do so? Should they wish to accomplish their goals? Should they wish to take first place? And the lion's share of this rather weighty prize pool, I believe it's up to $80 now. So, Emerald City will be game number 2. Once more into the breach. Rode at least the 2. As that's the amount of players on a team here. As our players, they're loaded into map number 2. And in the upper left, in the red, he's the Terran player on the brink of elimination. He's PracticeX. And yes, his partner. Also in the red, he's the Zerg player. He's GhostlySwarm. And yeah, I am well aware of this fact. Again, I'm much more plugged into the 1v1 than I am the 2v2 scene. There we are in the bottom right. In the blue, up 2 games in this series, 1 game away from the championship. He's the Zerg player. He's Loki. And finally, his partner. He's the Protest player with the wacky builds. He's Prince. Yeah, Prince is actually I'm not even going to say used to be a GSL player. He qualified Season 2, did incredibly well. Narrowly missed qualifying for Season 3, and I would consider him more of an up-and-coming GSL player rather than a former GSL player. I think DRGLing, who is what Loki goes by, or went by, I don't know if he just decided to totally change his name. Anyway, well, he is much more of a former Codex player. He gets close to qualifying a lot. He gets to that last round. But he last qualified for GSL in 2017. This looks like Prince Loki. They are intent. They're going to take this natural by might or by right or by conquest. And it appears that right is the approach here. As they are starting to wall off everything. They're going to get a couple free bases, 2 free bases instead of the 1. And what do we have from our red team? Nothing crazy as of yet. Now, of course, early pool, but I think that's just how GhostlySwarm plays. More so than anything else. His timing is going to be about 3 minutes and 5 seconds when speed is done. I don't know if we're going to see much more before that. Just a couple more, defensive links. Now we have more and more drones on the way here. PracticeX, he's starting his command center, but it's a Reaper expand, so it's not quite as fast. Well, what am I saying? It's timed perfectly fine. So we have a 1-1-1 as a follow-up to this, or at least a 1-1, and I don't see any SCV on the map. I don't see anything crazy like that where... Actually, the Reapers... Well, yeah, there's no... The wall doesn't matter. There's no wall in the front anyways, but yeah, there's no SCV on the map. We're not going to see any sort of crazy proxy like we saw in the previous game. And this Reaper will scout that there is a Stargate going up, but again, that's Stargate in the main base. It's not the craziest thing. Now, what there does need to be is there needs to be something to deal with this Reaper. There we go, the Adept coming in, Zerglings as well. And interestingly enough, where are we at a gas? Loki, he has the gas for Zergling speed. He's just not gotten it, which means that I think we're going to see some Roach stuff here. I gotta imagine that, or yeah, we're gonna see something crazy. There we go. Lair on the way at 3 minutes. Roach Warren on the way, so we may see a Roach Nidus. We may see a Nidus Roach. So on the other side of the map here, Lair on the way as well. Again, speed is done though, so I think this is much more of a kind of a 2-base Muta setup where PracticeX is just gonna feed gas, feed as much gas as he has into GhostlySwarm's pockets, so he can get all those roaches or all those mutas that he is so desirous of. And should they get there, actually, well, what do I say? There's a Roach Warren going down, so who knows? Actually, the Zerg builds are pretty mirrored in this game 3. Therefore, will find its way in. How many kills does it get? 4. Nice cancels on that, but yeah, four drones. That's more than you would normally get. Yeah, we'll be forced out here with the Cyclone with the Queen. Now a couple Zerglings. They're gonna actually no, they're just returning home. What am I saying? Those are red Zerglings. Those are not blue Zerglings. But anyway, so now we have Phoenixes on the Phoenix on the way. We don't have really not much tech has been shown here by our Protoss player. Not really. And what do we have? +1 roaches, roach speed on the way. No Nidus tech. Nothing going down yet. But this is 3 gas. So yeah, this is just going to be a massive amount of roaches pummeling in to our the red team here, while providing time for Prince to go get pretty high up on that Phoenix count. I guess that's the goal here. Oracles are going to go and get it once again. No kills. So two more drone kills. Not bad. Loki Prince, they're sitting here up on economy, despite. I mean, actually, we do see third base on the way. So I guess this is just a defensive slash with the potential for an aggressive macro opener. I mean, because Loki, he's going for third base. It's a late third by anyone's standard, by any Zerg's standards, but it's spamming up roaches behind this. So I think what we're going to see is, well, yeah, we're just going to see a massive swell of +1 roaches with whatever Prince has. So really just a lot of Phoenix supporting from behind it. What this means, of course, is if there are any tanks, the Phoenixes just get lifted. And then the massive amount of the massive roach army just kind of runs on top of things and kills everything off. And this is a terrifying thing. As now when you have the roaches, they're going to try to get up with the tanks here. This is not a avenue they want to take. As well, there's just too much anti-air for the moment. But now with the Phoenixes, they're going to run in. And we just have the roach army moving around on the left-hand side. Which means this base is never going to go up. But now the roaches should be able to dive on into the natural. And there's not a whole lot of anti-air here, which means the Phoenixes should be able to dive and lift, but they're not all that interested in doing so. This appears to be more of a pressure move to allow our blue team to get into that crazy late-game macro style that they like so much. Double Phoenix, double Robo, all those shenanigans. So we will see GhostlySwarm get supply block for a moment. Nice pickoffs on the Queen as well. So again, Phoenixes, or Phoenices, because they do come, Phoenix is in the Latin. They provide an incredible amount of map control. They allow you to pin your opponent back, much like Mutas do. They serve similar roles. And looks like GhostlySwarm, he wants to take a third, but that is not going to happen. There we go. It's just going to be lifted, killed off. And now the Phoenixes the Phoenixes will find the third base. And while the Roaches, they're just sitting at home. Okay, so now the Marines will find some of this, and yeah, they do have to back up. There they go, and Stim is done? Stim is done. 1-1 is just about done. No combat shields on the way. Third base not allowed once again. Third player just kind of stuck on 2 bases, and he's not like he can go mutas. This is a massive Phoenix block. +1 is done, so yeah, any sort of muta transition, it's not great. And there's not a lot of other techs that you can go on pretty easily off 2 bases. So now the Phoenixes will find their way on into the main base here. See, man, if they dove on top of PracticeX's man, they would have found that there was no anti-air whatsoever. But of course, the Phoenix, we do have a GhostlySwarm taking that opportunity to go and take his third base. Now we do have a fairly large army here from our red team, not even one player, moving their way across the map, clearing up creep at the very least. But these battles are going to go down and not going to hit a whole lot. Now with the Phoenix, they're going to go home. Should just be able, yeah, they're going, just killing off reinforcements. And now we have the roaches. They're just going to dive on top of these tanks. One tank goes down. One tank gets lifted. The other ones are going down in a second. The entire army of the red team is just falling apart. The Phoenix is just going to be able to lift the rest. And this red army, there's just nothing here. The tanks go down, and there we have it. GG, we have a champion. Loki Prince. They're taking it 3-0.